So hi guys, welcome to Ustream. If you're new and you want to call in tonight, then you call on Skype, which is Lisa Cairns 12. It's Lisa Cairns 12. I'll just do an introduction. Hey Isabel, and then I'll speak with people. Hi Christine, hi Gnost. Gnost. We all hope that one day we'll meet the old woman or old man that gives us the path to life, the path to this, even the path to understanding this. That one day we'll have the map that shows us the way. Well, there is no way. There is no magical map that's going to appear one day, giving the perfect explanation as to what's happening here. What happens is the one that needs away, wants away. Disappears. And then there is only the way. Hey Espoon. Hi Kilgan. 123. Hi Weena. 6996. You think you're here to get something, but this is about total and utter loss. You think I know what I'm talking about, but actually it's just coming out. Maybe you think that I'm thinking about it, but it's just coming out. It's a surprise. Here, just comes out. Pop, 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 pop. Hi, Jason. Everything is still. It appears as if it's moving, but it's all still. It's all not happening, as well as happening. The person suffers because it believes it's a separate person, and that this is really real, and that this moment comes from the past. Whereas this moment comes from nowhere. Well, if anybody's got any questions, then ask away. Sources. Michael. Oh no, it's not Michael, it's Kevin. Hey, Kevin. I was thinking your name was Michael, but it is Kevin. I'm right, aren't I?
I don't know if I muted the right thing.
Sorry?
Let's see. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's good to talk with you.
Yeah, and you.
Yeah, I was just one of the questions was about like divinity and like is there anything that isn't divine, like including the illusions or even the notions of a separate self or the appearance of ones that can interact.
There isn't anything which isn't divine. It's all it.
And then with you just mentioned like how it's just coming, like it's not like you're not, there's no one really there like speaking the words, they just kind of spontaneously happen. Does it ever feel like I almost feel like most of what's happening is unseen and there's like this immense, not like a volcano, but like something like that it's not seen in the usual perceptual ways.
Like an energy.
Yeah. And what's noticed or what's consciously perceived is just kind of just one tiny aspect of that, but it's taken to be the whole of what's happening.
I got lost. I'm in a particularly no-thing mood tonight. I can't hold on to what you asked me. This might not be a very productive talk.
Yeah.
You have to ask me again.
Okay. Or I don't know if it was really a question. It was just kind of a noticing. Well, what about the sense of the illusion of linear sequential causation? Like, there's a history that led up to now, and this is leading to a definite. It has a trajectory that's going to a certain place. So are you saying that this is just instantly, immediately appearing all at once, and what's appearing includes like almost like the flavor of a history, as if a whole history has happened.
Yeah, it always appears as if it's in cause and effect, so one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing, but it's never actually happening. It's
Yeah.
never actually, and it doesn't even really come from nowhere, it just is nothing, appearing as everything, appearing as movement, appearing as cause and effect, appearing as a result of billions of factors. But most people don't even think about that. They, they, they think that their actions aren't even a billion factors. They think that their actions are their own. But in the appearance of things, it takes everything in order for their action to happen. It takes the sunlight, it takes the cloud movement, it takes the earth to spin. It takes everything, everything. There couldn't be one thing that's out of place. So in the appearance of things, they believe that they're moving independently. But actually, if you look at all appearance, all it reflects back is non-separation, that everything is dependent and interconnected with everything else. But that's one side of things. But then on the double whammy is that it's never actually happening. That's never actually a reality. It's spontaneously created here, now. This is all there ever is. There's never time, there's never past and future. It just appears that way.
Yeah.
Like a kaleidoscope moving.
That's awesome. Yeah, and in a certain sense, it seems like it can never be like two moments simultaneously. So that's why it never actually happened in a certain sense. Because once the new moment is now, like the previous, it's
gone.
No longer because it had to make way for this.
Yeah.
In a certain sense.
Yeah, and the human is stuck on time because it believes it's really real and it's really happening and there's really independence, and it just gets stuck in time. And the more and more that separate person grows, the more and more it worries, has anxiety, fears. Like that's like the side effect of that separation, is that all this mental activity grows because it's always trying to predict the future, search in the future, get things from the future, when really neither of that exists. It's like the back and the front are empty.
Yeah. Yeah, that in a certain sense, would you say, to the extent that there's the kind of presence of like an entity or a sense of a self or a person, then that kind of blocks any, I don't know if you could even call it knowing, because who would know really? But
it just creates the appearance of suffering, I would say, and suffering is a separate self, so it always makes this world seem divided while that's there. And I think it gets stronger and less, like throughout the day for most people. Sometimes there's more of a contraction person there and then less.
Yeah. It seems like when that person is present, then there's like usually an underlying sense of need, or like movement towards getting something.
Yeah.
But then maybe when that's not there, then the whole sense of need is seen as maybe ridiculous or not. Because like what like need really?
Yeah, but the body does have its natural desires to eat and to communicate and be social, but it's no longer fulfilling. It just is the body's movement. It doesn't fulfill anything because there's nothing there anymore. Whereas when the person's there, there's somebody there that needs to prove themselves, needs to be something, needs to be immortal, needs to have their name stay after they die. So there's nowhere to get to and go.
Have you heard of synesthesia before? Like where you see what you hear, where the senses kind of get changed, so like you can smell what you taste and you taste what you see, or things like that.
No, I've never heard of that, but this body is prone to bizarre experiences. I have vertigo. I think I have quite a bad case of vertigo, so often if I'm just in 2 or 3 heights of a building, it feels like it's moving.
Oh wow.
So I'm often feeling like I'm often having bizarre experiences, so I can imagine having something like that. And I often get smells at the wrong time, like nice smells of roses, and there's no source, but I don't have it, but I've heard of it, but I can imagine what it's like.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing too, like how imagination can, like when they say like, oh, if you imagine like you're eating a sour lemon, then your saliva glands will start, like,
Yeah.
even though there's no like lemon there.
Yeah.
But I mean, how much of what we experience is, or what is experienced, not we, but is experienced as kind of a result of this imaginary realm of like
Yeah.
imagining things, and then the physiological.
I don't know though if there's like a separation though, because I think the world and the brain are the same thing. So I'm not a scientist and I don't understand how it works, but if the brain is creating a different reality to what other people are collectively seeing, I don't know. I mean, I think that is like we have a collective reality that we see as humans, but only because that made us better at surviving. So if we didn't have a collective reality, then we couldn't build the house together, we couldn't gather the fruit together, so we had to. And then we have other people which we call mad, which don't fit into the collective reality. But I mean, which world is right? If you look at the world through a brain of an owl, it will be so different. Like I think they see in heat, it would be a completely different realm. So I don't think there is this. I think the brain and the world are the same thing. The way that life experiences itself is it creates these bodies and a world in order to have experience, but they're not separate.
Yeah.
Like they're the same thing. So then you suggest a smell, and then suddenly the body smells it if it's real. And then sometimes you might also notice that if somebody mentions something, that also appears. So a few times somebody mentions, I don't know, that you need to watch this film or something, and then before you know it, it's on your computer, or somebody sent you a DVD, or like it just always seems to happen like that. But it's not that there's coincidences, there's anything separate, it's just that the brain and the world are the same.
Yeah. Yeah, it's part of it.
You can't find a difference between what is and the brain and what is, they're the same. But it's not that the brain's the source, but it's just that it's the instrument which is used to interpret this energy, this flow of energy.
Yeah. It seems like there's like different ways of perceiving or something. Like it seems that at least with this body mind, like before it seemed that the eyes were seeing in a certain way, like that were just almost like projected memories or definitions of things, and then now it's like it's something. It feels like very subtle, and it's like almost like endless beauty, but it's not like I'm generating it. It's almost like I don't know. I guess it would look like abstract art to most people, but but I don't. But that's just kind of.
That's beautiful.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, like there's no, like the brains are all wired in their certain ways, and if that brain is looking that way, that's really beautiful.
Somehow.
Yeah. To see it as abstract art, that could be also quite intense as well.
Yeah, but it actually looks more real to me, I guess. But if I were to project it or something like holographically, it would probably look abstract to
Yeah.
the usual way of seeing things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that stillness, that's amazing too. Just how there can be like that simultaneous two aspects of this, as the perfect stillness and immovability in a certain sense, and then the perpetual motion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is there? So ultimately, would you say it's all silent? Like even though there appears to be like sound and
I think it's simultaneous.
something, yeah.
I mean, in the Buddhist sutras, they say that the first is emptiness. So the first is void. But here it's seen as simultaneous.
Yeah.
They also say in the sutras that it's both simultaneous as well. Yeah, they contradict each other. Basically, we can just never comprehend with our brain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. But in a certain sense, it does make sense because, yeah, it would just be simultaneously, but maybe because the brain, the way that it functions is it has to, like, pick out, I guess, and, like,
Yeah.
distinguish.
And then also when you think about it, there can never be non-existence. There can only ever be existence, which is non-existence, but there can never be solely non-existence because that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So it's. But then you get to.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for.
Oh, nice to speak with you. It is Kevin, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was calling you Michael before, but I think I've done that many times.
Yeah.
But I got it right in the end. Oh, nice to speak with you, Kevin.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Yeah, bye.
Thanks, bye.
Hi, Lisa. I'll call you later when I've called all the newcomers. Annette Joy. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Annette.
Hi, Lisa. I'll call you. Hi.
Hey.
That's my first time calling you.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Thanks. I've been disappointing a lot of people lately. I've been watching you, and it's been so helpful to be in just the space that you provide without the pressure to perform, or because I was following someone else that I guess I don't speak about like different teachers necessarily, but I'm just really confused about that one. But when I listen to you, everything kind of stills down, and there's no like pressure to perform, or you're not asking for devotion or so.
You can let the emotion come.
I think that's what my question is. Like, you talk about how it's okay, like you feel like when pain comes, when you have pain, that it's everything is pain. And I've heard you say, and I'm really trying to let the pain out, but I don't know quite how to do it without spiraling down more, like adding story to it, I guess, beating myself up mostly. I disappoint a lot of people. Trying to actually not disappoint them. It's funny. But you did talk once. I was hearing you talk about this and how, like, it was a while back or maybe in a retreat I was listening to. You talked about how, it was funny, how you could spend 10 years learning to be still and then your partner would say you're so boring. Or something like that. You said, what? There's no juice. Something like that. And I was so relieved because before I don't know what I was only ever following this one other prominent teacher real closely, and it is very different what you're talking about than that one. So it feels different, though it's spoken as if it's similar. I'm just trying to get out of the confusion of it. Like, I think if all is one, then why would there be the division of oneness in the different forms speaking about oneness? I guess I get confused because it's hard to follow which oneness. Anyway, I don't know if it's making sense, but I really appreciate you taking my call.
That's okay. That's a pleasure. What happens when we're speaking or when you're listening to me speak is that something's being recognized that's not intellectual, and that's why there's a attraction to it. Oh, Lisa's just having a grumble. And it really doesn't matter what I say or if I contradict or if they contradict. Whatever appears is it. There isn't a right or a wrong. Our mind is set up in opposites, so our mind is set up to judge this as right and that as wrong. And even though sometimes I say opposite, today this is what's coming. But it is as it is, and it will begin to be seen that you're not following my words or the belief systems. What's been recognized again is everything, but not by someone anymore. And it's all working its way out. You don't have to move in the right way. You don't have to do the right thing. There is the attraction to it, otherwise it wouldn't be appearing. And the disappointment of the other humans, that's part of relationships, because when you're in a relationship with somebody, you both have an idea of who that somebody is, and then you want that somebody to do things for you and to be a certain way in order to fulfill your somebody. So when you're in a relationship with someone, it's always going to be filled with disappointment. They and you are going to be looking for happiness from each other, from a pleasurable feeling from each other, and it's impossible. No things can ever do that.
I understand, like, that from my side, but and not maybe fully, but I can catch it when it's happening. Like, oh, it hurt because you were still thinking you'd find what you need from the formlessness in a form. So that's why this is hurting, and it's like a constant, like, oh, that's hurting again. Okay, that's because you're still looking in the form for the formless. But
and the really beautiful part about that is that action is happening in this, the action of catching it, and there's still this that's totally free and totally still, even though it's been caught or not caught. There's always this boundless freedom in which everything is. That's not you. That's that action of movement isn't you.
The action of movement,
That catching things, that's not your limitation, and you're not right or wrong if you don't catch it or do catch it. That's an appearance in boundlessness. And then most of us spend our lives bound in that feeling like that's who we are, that we are that movement, that we are that separate movement that's got to free ourselves, be a better person, understand ourselves, and all of that's happening in it, as it. Right now, that's not that person looking. It's not you looking. This is life looking. This is everything looking.
You talk about, like, the person when it's dissolving, it hurts, but yet when you have experiences of just the dissolution, like of taking LSD or whatever, that's just the emptiness, you called it, yeah. That it's just full of love, and there's nothing for fear. There's nothing.
The body might have fear, but there's nothing which is separate. There's nothing. It cannot feel like that. The body, but the body is not a separate person anymore. The body is a movement of energy. And the body might have fear, but it doesn't belong to anyone anymore. It's a happening in boundlessness, in freedom.
And then there's also something like that, like there's nothing that a person can actually do to wake up, like it's going to happen on its own. But like,
I don't quite say it like that.
How do you say it?
It's not that there's nothing the person can do. It is there is no separate person. So doing will happen. So if there's an attraction to listening to this, they'll be listening to this. If there's an attraction to that other speaker, they'll be going there. But there's never actually somebody listening to this and somebody going there and somebody individually, separately doing anything. Action appears from nothing, not from time. Action appears from and as the void, not from time, not from past, not from you. So doing happens, but nobody does. So it's not that there's nothing you can do, it's that there's no you doing. But the mind hears that and thinks it's hopeless, I can't do it. But it's not quite that, it's that there is nobody doing. Doing happens, like always.
Okay, so when you bumped your mom and dad's car into something recently, or I don't know when I was listening to that, and they were upset with you, like I've been dealing with like people being upset with me because I've been detaching more from people and I'm not living up to the expectations maybe of what they have, and I don't even know them because I don't bother to ask them, and I guess that's letting people down, and so they blame. And I've had a lot of, it's funny, I'll be like sitting in the moment thinking, oh, this is really beautiful, this lane. Not that I'm gone yet, but it's so pretty, you know, or maybe you have, I don't know. But, and then it seems like a trend of people blaming, lots of, you know, anger and blame, and comes right after I catch that. It's like, oh, whoa. And then I go, and I lose what you just said with it, and it hurts again, and then I take it that I'm hurting. The contraction happens, as you say.
And it'll begin to be seen that even in the blaming is absolute perfection. Even in the sound of blaming and anger and aggression, there is absolute stillness. That it doesn't come from anywhere and it's not directed at anyone. That too is void.
But the person doesn't see that. It's just this space, this emptiness that recognizes it.
Yeah, the person can't see it, but it's the way it is. There is nothing that means anything. There's nothing that's actually going anywhere. So there's nothing that could blame someone. There are sounds appearing. And although that brain has to register it and take responsibility or deny responsibility, that all happens by itself. And the freedom is the happening, not the trying to get the movements of the happening to line up in a certain way, so to not get blame to stop or anything. It's the freedom is the happening, because the happening is not is whatever is appearing because it's not happening. But we always look at it like that's my pain and I've got to get rid of it, where really there is simply pain which is totally empty and vast. There is blame which is vast and empty and free. There is joy which is vast and empty and free. All of it's free.
So even like feeling misled by a teacher or something, I still love the teacher, but I felt kind of misled. But then I know that I must have needed to be misled if I was misled. I don't know.
There's just no, and also there's no separate energy which could be misled. Who could mislead who? Who could actually mislead you? There is energy dancing. giving the appearance that somebody misled somebody, but actually there's nobody there. There is energy moving.
So it's like a label we put on the energy, like there's just a sensation in the body, and you like maybe have associated that to, oh, that's me in rejection, and then it starts a story?
The story just starts, and we live in our dualistic world, and our dualistic world is always an opposite. So there's somebody that's misled somebody else, there's somebody that blames someone. So it's always in two. It's always in good and bad, right and wrong, me and you, and that's not true.
I think when I see you acting, like when someone's aggressive or something, I've only seen a little bit of it, not too much, and you were so open about how, like, if someone's being kind of attacking or something, that you just sort of, the character Lisa just sort of kind of, retreats, or, smiles, or, does a dance or whatever. I don't use words, but, knows exactly what to do, but inside. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. And I know as a person you can't figure all that out.
No, and sometimes I can reply. This body will reply with a lot of force. It's not always passive. But sometimes it's like a ball hits ball. I'm like, brum.
I haven't seen those videos yet.
I can be really forceful sometimes. But a lot of the time not. The personality tends to be passive, but it can be a ball.
Yeah.
Can really go. Or a ram.
No. In that moment, it's just empty. There's no.
It happens to no one. There is just sensation as everything. But you don't have to get this, it's a happening. You don't have to understand me or understand it, it's happening.
Well, I have bought a ticket to India to go see someone there, and I'm going to probably end up coming instead to Beverly Hills and eating the ticket. I don't know why. It just feels better. It just seems cleaner. I don't know, those are all dualistic words, and I'm sure I hope to someday.
But also the person never knows. It says one thing and then it's like, oh, I'm on the plane, I'm off, I'm there. Who never knows?
That's funny, thank you. I need to laugh a little. Okay, so like another, I've heard people ask similar to this, and it's funny that it would come up, but like there's no course of action. The person wants to know the response.
The course of action is whatever appears.
Oh.
That is the course of action. Whatever appears, it's never going wrong. And the person's like, oh, that can't be right.
That's so cool. But that's not like you just believe that. That's like you really, that's how it is.
That's how it is. It could never be any other way than what appears. And that's always the way it's been. You can never fast forward or rewind. It only ever is as it is, and it appears the way it appears. The sun never would comprehend, am I shining wrong, or did I not give enough light, or did I give too much? It just shines. The flower the same, the tree, the animals, and then the human sits there and goes, I'm the wrong human. It cannot be. It cannot be. The self-consciousness or self-awareness is a tiny part of the functioning of these bodies. It's a tiny part. It comprehends such little of how this is working. The body moves and it goes, oh, I'm moving. Or I fancy to go and buy some orange juice. And then it goes and buys orange juice. But it's been happening before the reporters even reported on it.
It's like all your thoughts are past.
Yeah. And they're tiny little fragments of how it's functioning. Like self-consciousness or self-awareness was only helping us survive. It was only because certain things needed to be aware of, so we could be aware that we're looking at a computer, or we could be aware that we're drinking tea. as opposed to bleach. Whereas Khaleesi can't know that difference, and that's my dog.
I like her. So cute. Those pictures are so cute.
Yeah, she's a sweetie.
She is lucky she got to be with you in her life, which makes me wonder about like trauma. You talk about how like there's trauma in a lot of times the sensations for me might be what I've been told anyway. Maybe either because I'm highly sensitive or because of trauma or whatever.
Yeah. That's part, but that's part of the body. That's like a bodily function. The body, like the body's been educated in English, in American, and this one in England, and it's been educated in that particular society. It also will be educated in trauma. So that which has created great pain in it, it will register. That body will register. And they even say that we genetically are passed on trauma as well. So we've got our parents' trauma as well, not only our own, but generations before. And I don't really know how energy works, but it's most probably that we've got other humans' trauma as well in the bodies. And to try and work that out, we're often taught in spirituality, we've got to work it out. To try and work it out would be endless in a way. And I don't know how much it would change. I mean, if it's genetically in every cell of the body, then it's going to be pretty hard to change. If you do change some of it, that's nice, but there'll be more trauma that come along. It's not freedom. It's like a never-ending cycle of movement. Like the body's going to be traumatized about things, and then it will move on to being traumatized about different things. So you'd never be able to fix that. I'm not against attempting to make it a little bit better if there's a bad trauma in there. Like me and Khaleesi have been doing loads of work to try and get her to be more a social dog, and it's really working. Like she's doing really well. She almost looks like she's well behaved, and
as
but
long as no one touches her.
yeah. Even that she's beginning to tolerate a little bit now. She went to the vet this evening and took her jabs, and the vet touched her and stroked her, and she tolerated it all. So she's really beginning to work some stuff out. But you know, tomorrow she could be hit by a car and then be traumatized by a car, and then we'd work on taking out the trauma of the car. So it's like it's a never-ending thing, that part of it, and that's not freedom. You don't have to work yourself out. The freedom is the emptiness, which is everything appearing now. And it's the illusion of self that says, that's my trauma, this body's traumatized. This body had, sometime growing up, it was a little bit bumpy, like most people's, and it has some weird thought patterns around certain things and bizarre behaviors. And lots of different things. But that isn't freedom, and that has to act its way out. So if there's fear in this body has to show fear. If there's distrust in this body has to show distrust. If there's aggression in this body has to show the aggression. But none of that is my freedom, because none of that belongs to me. So it's not that I don't have to have those things. Those things appear, but they're appearing in total stillness. Just like the sunlight is, just like the tree is, and none of it's me. It's a happening. When I used to think they were mine, I used to think somebody abused me or somebody hurt me, and that it was me and mine, and I had to deal with these things. And then that's when it began to get bizarre, because I felt like I had been traumatized and that somebody had done it to me, and that I was wrong or I was bad, and that's where the suffering began. Whereas they're just appearing, and also I didn't want to show it because I was ashamed. Whereas now I act like a Wally, and that's the way it is.
I thought about you. So that's so nice. It's so refreshing. Oh.
It's a happening, and you know, there ultimately isn't anything that we have to be. It's just response happening in every moment, and there's not a fixed us. There's not a picture in which is us. We're not a traumatized person, or we're not a good person. It's every moment there is response happening, which tends to happen in patterns, but it's nothing to do with us. And the freedom is the collapse of the self, not the fixing of the body. The fixing of the body will be like a hamster in the wheel. But it's really not about behaving in any particular way. Like the body has to act out its trauma. Like Khaleesi heckles always go up when she greets a new dog. Like her hair stands on end. She has to do a little dance.
Oh, well, thank you for your time. I know there's other people waiting.
It's a pleasure. It was lovely to speak with you, Annette.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
I just have to go to the toilet. Excuse me. Oh. Hi, Petter. You can call if you like. Or he says, is it possible to talk a little bit about that nothing that happens could be otherwise? What if I took another choice 2 years ago? What if the sky was blue? What if my kitchen was green? What if Paul didn't overwater my orchids when I was away and kill them all? What if I had £1 million? What if I was a boy? What if I had the latest Mac? I do actually. What if I drank less tea? What if I hadn't? Cooked Thai soup for dinner. What if, what if? Hey, Petter.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you see me? What's that?
I can see you, yes. If you don't want to be seen, you can turn your video off on Skype.
Okay. No, but I just.
No one else can see you, just me.
Yeah, okay. It's the first time I do this, and because the question is more like.
Oh, you just have to turn the volume off Ustream.
Yeah, sorry. Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if that is correct, that nothing could be otherwise, everything will be much happier and easier in this life. Because it can be otherwise, so that's it. No, I can't hear you anyway.
Oh, but I didn't say anything, I just nodded.
Okay.
Oh, you can see my, if you tap on Skype, you'll be able to see my video.
Yeah, I see both now.
Oh, you see both, yeah. Yeah. Yeah?
Because kind of maybe all the electromagnetic things makes everything happen. I don't have any choice to do anything, but on the other hand, did I have a choice to go and get that coffee, or don't I have a choice? And if nothing can be otherwise, everything is just acceptable.
Yeah. No, it appears that there's choice. So the appearance is it comes up and says, oh, I'm going to go for a coffee, and then the body goes for the coffee. But where does that choice come from?
It's just an impulse, a thought.
It's an impulse, yeah. And that impulse is way more complicated than the idea of somebody choosing. It's just that the human appears to have self-consciousness. But it doesn't actually. It just needed that in order to function better. It just formed as a functioning.
But all my blaming and suffering is because I did stupid choices.
Yeah,
So
that's what everybody's suffering is that they exist separately and that they have done bad or good. The first lesson a child is taught is be good, not bad. You are someone and be good, not bad. And so it suffers in that world. And the more and more that world grows of me and my life and my bad actions and my good actions, the more and more the person suffers. But it's energetical. It's not just mental. It's an energetical sense.
why am I so occupied sometimes in my mind still if I'm 54 years old? And why do I bother what people think? And I fantasize maybe they go against me. I know I shouldn't care because things could be otherwise, kind of thing. But on the other hand, all the stuff.
But it's like a wind-up of energy. So imagine if you had, one of those toys that you pump, and each time you pump it goes round and winds up energy. It's like it forms energy, or like the windmills, the more they turn, the more energy is formed. And that's what the separate self is like. There's been 50 apparent 4 years of a build of a separate self, and the whole society validating it. And it's not just happening in that story, all humans have it. That they're always told that they're independent, they're separate, and they choose. And so there's more and more thinking and thoughts and energetical sensations developed around a separate person that chooses. And the energy gets tighter of me, and my life. And the focus just goes on your life and what you've done and what you haven't done and what you should be and what you shouldn't be. The separate self always lives in opposites in the world of comparison, what I am and what I'm not. And it's not just you, it's the whole of humanity are under this spell, and everybody feels the weight of it.
But if it's really, really true that nothing could be otherwise, then it's easy.
Yeah. It's always been easy. Everything's just been happening. There's just been in the human this illusion that it was its responsibility and its job. Everything's been happening. The impulses, the sunlight, Imagine if the human had the ego that said, I've got to create the sunlight this morning. Some people do with spirituality. They're like, yes, it's my job to create a happy sky or a peaceful world. Ooh, that's terrible. But imagine if the ego was like, okay, it's my job this morning to make the sunlight go, and then when it wakes up there's a black sky and it's all cloudy and very grey and it's going to rain, and then the person lays in bed feeling really guilty and ashamed that it didn't create a sunny sky. That's what it does internally though, because it really believes that's a real world. I choose. But it's an energetic contraction, and when that energy's run out, and when it's ready to collapse, it will collapse. But like the spinning top, it's got that energy to work out.
But when I was some days alone in the mountains, and I got the feeling being everything and happy and no thought, and my God is so great, and then smack, I'm back again. And how can you stay on that road with you are off it?
You can't stay on it because the you doesn't actually exist. The you is an appearance happening, and it will fall when it falls, just like the fruit will fall from the tree when the fruit falls. Like the leaves will grow when the leaves grow, the sun shines when the sun shines, the flower blooms when the flower blooms. You can't make anything happen because you don't exist independently. You is an appearance that's coming and going. There's nobody that ever controlled anything.
So the free will, and because we don't have a free will, because we...
No. There appears to be though, but no. And you can't make this happen because there is no you. And this is the way it is. There is nothing appearing as everything, going through the filter of somebody that feels like they're something.
Okay, of course I'm nobody and nothing, but I have a lot of pleasure being here.
You have a lot of what, sorry?
It's a lot of pleasure being on this planet, so it's and a lot of mostly not pleasure, but so I am something.
Are you? Appears to be, but not really in the instant. Only appears in time. But actually in the instant there is nothing.
Where are the, if you are just body, lungs, temples, where are all the memory, thoughts, experiences from the subconscious? Are that in... Oh, sorry. It's the commercial.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it'll pass in a minute.
So I turn down.
I don't think you can turn it off when they come. They have a plug-in.
Oh, it's so nice because when I get the glimpse of what you tell, it's just another kind of existence.
Yeah, that's what's happening. But it's just nothing to do with you. It's revealing itself again. Just wait for the thing to go.
You stop smoking.
But why is it in English? You're in Norway, no?
Yes, I am.
You have English ads in Norway?
If you have English accent.
Ads. Your ad was in English.
Yeah, on the YouTube, yes, we have, yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, I get a bit scared.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Of what?
No, because I take the time of other people.
Oh.
That's, yeah.
Oh no, there is nobody else.
That's true. I have, on my back, I have present moment, some logos, I have now, I have this is it from you. I have, on Saturday I could accept what is. So my back is full now. So I have to be, nothing could be otherwise. I don't know where to put it.
You can put it on the front.
No, so that's really a very, very serious question. Because if that is kind of proven that nothing could be otherwise and everything has to be as it has to be.
Oh, but it is. Scientists do prove that.
Yeah, and then it's just why bother about anything?
Well, because that's what's happening. And what's happened in humanity at the moment is there's been this appearance of separation, which makes it seem like people are having free will and choosing and acting independently. I suspect it's something that's going to die in humans soon.
Then we can't understand why am I here, moved here, divorced, say, kept my job. I don't know why this happened. And did I do a stupid mistake?
But you don't need to know. Why would that? Why would it even need to be known?
No, that's so cool that we don't
It's gone.
But when you have a very active mind,
Yeah.
it's kind of difficult. But, yeah, thank you.
Oh, with pleasure. It was nice to speak to you again, Peter.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. Hey, Julie. Hey, Dee. Yes, we can talk a little bit. I just got a bit of a queue, Dee. I just worked my way through. Hey, Lute. Hey, Cornelius. Never heard someone called Cornelius before. I only know it from Harry Potter. Hi, Isabel. Sweetness. Who's that a picture of? Hi, Ramon. With a number, really. Ramon. Hi, Lorraine. Okay. So, do Lorraine and then Lisa. And then Dee. Hey, Lorraine. Hey. Sorry?
Thank you for calling.
Oh, with pleasure. You look very tanned. Is it nice and hot there at the moment?
Yeah, it's been very, very hot.
We're all freezing our butt off here in Europe.
It's like a heat wave here. It's been ridiculously hot.
Very nice.
So, lots of swimming and sun and swimming and just really great. So I always just go blank.
Me too.
It's just like, no matter what word you said, it's all the same anyway. It's all the same. It's all meaningless.
Yeah.
Last time I spoke to you, I was in such despair.
I don't remember. I'm sorry that I'm laughing.
No, it's very funny.
remember though.
Well, it's just not despair, like it's being very hopeless.
Oh yeah.
Hopeless, complete hopelessness.
Now that's gone.
And just like what you were saying earlier on, like just like the complete freedom that, like I always thought that like freedom was on the other side of hopelessness, you know, in finding hope and not being hopeless. But like the immensity of this, that everything can play and that it's all free. And I wanted to ask you this. I was talking to a friend today, a mutual friend, and we were talking about the question of I. There is no I. Is there?
No. Never. Even when there appears to be, there's never somebody there. It's always changing, everything. There's never anything solid. Just gives the appearance of that, because I'm sure it was something to do with survival for the humans, to have something which seemed to follow patterns and seemed to be linear.
Yeah.
But there's never an I there. It's impossible.
Totally.
It can seem really real though for some people, or it can seem really real. It can act as if there really is somebody here.
But then that's also just a happening, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's totally free. But the person doesn't feel free when that's happening. The person feels tight and contracted and bound.
Yeah. And then tries to get out of it.
Yeah. Tries anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I did teachings of, I used to listen to other teachings where everything was about awareness and the witness and the I am presence. And I just never knew what any of that was about. And even like now, I know even less. Like there's absolutely no understanding whatsoever. There's no. Because it's all just the same. And
Yeah.
so what would the point of those point of be? And even this question is totally irrelevant. But like sometimes the character here feels like, am I missing something? Because I really, I don't understand. It's all. What would the point of that be?
Well, they must do something for it to be so popular. I think it can be very relaxing for the person, as in relaxing, not that there is somebody, but relaxing for the habits and the behavior. So it can kind of relax that intense neurosis if there's a lot of neurosis playing out. I presume it's something to do with that, and then it makes it feel more peaceful. But I don't know, and I always get confused between which one's which.
I've no clue. I feel like I tried so hard for so long to try and understand and find that's what's referred to as your true position. And there's just feels like there is no position.
No, there's nothing here, yet there's everything playing.
Yeah, and it's all the same.
Mm-hmm. And that's the true freedom. Like that is, and that's the way it is. It's like stillness moving, emptiness happening. It's simultaneously both, not for anyone to see or do anything about or to have or to be. It just is that way. Always has been that way. There's nothing that's ever been lost or gone wrong. It just appeared that there was somebody in the middle of it all going, oh my God, why am I alive? What should I do? But that never even existed. It just seemed to. It was like thoughts and energies which gave a very good play as if there was somebody there. And then even if that's there, that's total freedom as well. But it feels like when it's there and when it's strong, like there's something really wrong and there's something that needs to be got out of. But it's not that case. It just feels that way. But all these other teachings must do something, I think, to the brain or to the neurosis or to the... There must be a relaxation in which they create. And it must also fulfill that sense of hope.
Yeah.
There is going to be somewhere I'm going to get to, that sense of that religious calling that all of us have.
Yeah.
That God is
because
there.
It creates a process.
Yeah.
It creates a process of moving
Yeah.
through some kind of apparent level from
Yeah.
presence to awareness to pure awareness to... It's just... I don't know, like... It's all bullshit. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that.
But it is, but then it isn't in the sense of it's all perfectly playing, but it is all bullshit in the sense that there's never anybody that could ever do anything can get anywhere. That can never happen. You can never get anywhere. You don't exist. So there is that bullshit on that level. But on another level, it's perfect. If that's what appears, that's what appears, and it never goes wrong. It couldn't ever be anything else. But there's nobody that can get it or understand it or get there. Who would that be? But another illusion, another build on that sense that you are someone getting somewhere. Another daydream, a fantasy.
Yeah. That didn't come out the right way.
Oh, well, I jumped on the bandwagon even if it didn't.
Sorry. But it just it doesn't seem like it can bring any freedom.
I think that some of these practices can create a sense of relaxation in the trauma patterns. You know, like in the traumatized person, I think it can relax the body. But for some people that are very high thinkers, I think it can disturb them a bit.
That's what's happened. That's what happens here. Is that I find that it creates. I find it's very disturbing because it can't. Like there's I have no clue what is meant by awareness. Is and so then there's or any of it, and then it's like, well, am I missing something? Because it's like I can't. It just feels like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, and I do. I think that people that tend to have more of an active mind, it can be distressing for. But for some bodies, like so say if you just imagine a body that's been really traumatized, that's had a really bad experience, I think stepping out of society and going to an organization that talks about these things could really be a therapeutic thing for that person. Like there can be a therapeutic side to it for the body, for the to see that you're not your thoughts, to see that it's like if you've just been, say, in an airplane crash or lost your daughter or something really traumatic and you've only ever lived in mainstream society, I do think it can really be a blessing to a body that has no other option in the society it's living in. But it's never going to end. Like if it believes that there's one day when I'm going to get somewhere, it might help it in the moment, but you're never going to get somewhere from it. It's an endless life is an endless movement of energy, And so it's always going to transform into new energy, and eventually it will become dead. That organization will become dead because the person will have changed and grown, and then it will want to go on to the next stage, and it will want the next thing, and it will become a dead thing because there isn't a place to ultimately get to. So eventually the person will get tired of it. It might take 20 years because you can't get anywhere.
It's not like awareness is a door to freedom or liberation.
No, but I think, although I've never... I do think that sometimes, when people have been really knocked around by life, that sort of environment could be a healing environment for that body-mind mechanism, especially when you come from mainstream society that's so harsh.
Yeah.
But nobody can ever get anywhere, and then it can end up as a mind trick, because the mind will be like, hang on, I've got to get... And then the mind gets onto another wagon.
Yeah. And that experience of awareness is still phenomenal. It's still in the dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's then just making the dream more comfortable.
Yeah. But it's in the dream. It can make the dream more comfortable, because it's something that's within the dream and can be seen.
Yeah.
Even if you talk about awareness in a really pure way, it's still something which is known.
Yes.
It's still something that something has.
Yes.
Even if they say it's awareness waking up to itself, words can get pedantic though. They can't really.
It's just created a lot of confusion here. So that's, and then when I hear you speaking and when I speak to, then it's just so simple and clear that all these words are not necessarily, all these words and pointers and everything just seem to cloud things in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It just creates, it just perpetuates this idea that something needs to be done, or of a practice, or of all.
Yeah.
And then when I hear you speaking, it's just so clear and so simple. And but I guess that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
No real point to but since there's I don't know. It feels like since a lot of the character has I don't know, the attempt to understand the futility of that's been seen, that's dropped away. There's just so much more space and clarity and freedom and joy, because that trying energy just is so exhausting and that trying to understand, trying to get it, trying to get it.
Mm. It might feel like that, but remember, you really can't see what's happening. It might feel like that, and that might be what's reported, but it's so hard to look at yourself objectively.
Thank you.
Oh, pleasure. It's always nice to speak to you and see your tan and your bikini top on.
Oh no, it's just
Oh, I thought it was bikini. I'm all in my jumper and
no,
eating full up.
because it's so hard. It's so incredibly hard. It's such a pointless topic, but it's somehow just been mulling around because it's such a it comes up so often.
Which one?
The whole topic of, you know, presence awareness, all
Oh,
of
yeah,
that
yeah.
is spoken about in so many teachings. And it was often
Yeah.
like, is there like more to be looked into because I just don't get this.
Oh, I see.
So,
Yeah.
you know, like,
But that's what the person always feels like, that there's more boxes to open than there's nothing. There's nothing to open. There's always that. There's the more treasures under the tree. The treasure is the happening. That's all there's ever been and all there ever will be.
oh yes, thank you.
It's so cute.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Lisa.
Oh, with pleasure.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Dee!
Hiya, gorgeous. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you doing?
Yeah, well, not sure. So I thought I'd touch base with you and just say hi.
Hi.
So good to see you. Yeah, oh God, Lisa. I do ought to come with a health warning here this lot because I'm just like,
Sorry?
a
Sorry,
health warning.
you've had a what?
No, I think it ought to come with a health warning.
Oh, what? Oh, what? These talk.
Nonduality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see me?
No, I can't.
Oh, if I tap camera, will you be able to see me?
Should be. Depending. Ah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. I'm in bed. Well, I'm on the bed. Yeah, I haven't even got a question. And actually, after your last talk, call, I just think, oh God, I just feel such a fraud now. But I've still obviously got to talk to you because there's just so much like dropping away here and so much, but I don't even know that. And like anger, I was so angry and pissed off with everything. And the game, I heard you say on one of your talks the other week about anger at the seeker. I am so angry at this game I've been playing, and so much so I've given up my job, and I don't even tell my husband yet. I can't tell him. It's like, and I've given it up. I've been telling everybody. Everything's just like going, clearing out everything.
Yeah.
It's just, and I can't. I know there's nothing here that can do anything about it even.
Yeah.
And
But there is a natural anger which I think lies in the separate person, because it does feel angry because every effort, everything it does can never get it there. So there's like this anger in this game that it's been playing of always pretending that it can potentially get there or giving hope.
Yeah.
And I think there's an anger towards God as well.
Yeah.
A real anger towards God.
That's it. I just feel so emotional, so I'm sorry about this, but I think that's it because I've always looked on, like something is going to save me, something is going to help. I've like looked out there, obviously like a lot of us do when we start on this path because we've no idea what we came into.
I think you're right about the health warning.
And now I know there's nothing that's going to save me or anyone else, nothing to save anyway. What would that be? It's just a complete... I just feel like I've really jumped off the cliff.
Yeah.
And it's so scary, but at the same time, such a relief to have actually jumped. To be in literally free fall. It's such a weird place, though, isn't it? And a lot of the time I hear, the colours I listen to still all the time. And I hear that, I've been in places where it's been really sweet, it's just this, and I can just cope, with it's just this, that's the voice that keeps thoughts keep coming. And then these last few weeks, there's just been like, oh my God, I don't know, I can't even, there is no words anyway, is there?
Mm.
But I just felt like I had to touch base with you, and I know there's nothing you can say, nothing to say. I don't even know why I'm calling.
Because it happened.
Yeah. It's just happened. But I've been to one of my clients tonight and I couldn't tell her the real reason why I've given up. I just feel such a fraud with all these therapies I've always done all my life. Not all my life. Well, it has been all my life actually, because I was a hairdresser for years, and that was a therapy in itself. For people that they came for the haircut, they came for the chat, and then went into therapists and the story, and that's your story. But I just feel such a fraud. This is the thing that's coming.
And these energies have just got to play out. Like that energy, that like it's just got to come out, and that feeling of fraud, and more than likely everything you see and look at will feel fraud. They'll feel like a fraud.
Yeah.
This is really, it really is like when you begin when the lid comes off, it's like a bottle of champagne that's been shaken. And it's not pretty all the time.
She's definitely not pretty.
Because there's been so much repressed by that person because you've been trying to be something your whole life.
Yeah. I try to be nice.
Yeah.
You've got, I know, obviously, in that, because you recognise that quite a few times, I think, in me. You just get sick and tired of trying to be nice all the time and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
I'm just exhausted by all of it. And even with this non-dual thing now, because, as you say, you get hooked on that then, and it's like, and obviously listening to you, which is the only thing I can do at the moment is listen to you. Or Tony. I did go to see Tony actually. I think I made a right fool of myself Saturday because I was so angry in the just sat there and I just really pissed off. All laughing at me. I don't care. I'm never coming here again. He said, "You've got no choice."
You watch, you'll go back.
I know that. And I don't know. Obviously we don't know because the fact that I find, like you say, the more you say things, and then, but with this, there's just such a. I feel this is my new addiction now. This is like my latest addiction.
Yeah.
But is it that? I don't know.
Yeah. Even if it is, that's got to act itself out. You try and stop an addiction, and addiction gets worse.
Yeah,
it's like the diet.
That. Yeah, it is. I've noticed that because that was the other thing. I lost loads of weight, felt really good, and now it's all going back on, and nothing I can do about it. And it was, you do so well. It's like, well, it's just what's happening. And I'm really, every time I get that reflected at me, because I know it's obviously me reflecting back at me. But my mum says anything or Paul says anything, and it's like, I know, you don't have to tell me that I'm putting weight on. I know I am, and nothing. But obviously they can't understand nothing. Any of us, and I really have got that now. Can't help anything. The absolute uncontrollability of it all. Even these words, it's just like, blah. I'm just exhausted by it all. Really. Yeah, you got to put a health warning out, Lisa. This really unfair.
I can have it at the bottom of the screen.
Do you realise what you're getting into? No, but actually at the same time.
But this is the total loss of you. This is no more being a nice person. This is no more being the good person. This is no more being the right person or the helper. It's just life happening with no. I mean, and it's total emptiness. It's like there's nothing here. There's nothing here acting. This is really profoundly different from being somebody that thinks they're in control of their life. So it really does need to come with a health warning. You lose everything. You lose absolutely everything.
Yeah, I really, there's something you say, I'm really getting that now. It's so just
all your hopes, all your dreams, all your desires that one day you'll get there, or one day you will get the gift from God. Everything goes down the panhole.
Yeah, absolutely. I really do, get that. It's just like I remember hearing someone say about, it is absolute despair that there's no way this eye that seems to have worked only in a story, and I know that, you work so hard at trying to get somewhere and trying to be that person and hold it all up, and it's just
impossible.
It is absolutely exhausting. Absolutely, but at the same time, there's such a, I mean, even gratitude, you can't even say that, but just like, it's an excitement, even though like the tears and the...
Because what happens in anyone that, not anyone, but when there's bodies are coming back and listening to it again, it's because there's a recognition of what's being talked about.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a knowing beyond that craziness of the person of this. And so otherwise the bodies wouldn't come back and listen again.
No, because most people, I don't even mention it to many people really.
And you won't even know your ability to recognise it, but it's just known. It's known what's being talked about here, and that's why there's a sensation of gratitude in the person. But you can't even recognize all of that happening, because you is something in time, and what's being talked about is the timeless. What's been pointed to is the timeless, so it can never be recognized by the you, but it's known.
That's it. There's such a longing for that. God, it's so.
And here it
so
is.
Painful.
Yeah, it is. And here it is, but the person's going backwards and forwards, and just cannot see it because the person's in time. But it's always been here. The you's never been abandoned. Even though the you feels like it is and is pissed with God and pissed with everything, it's never been abandoned. It just seems that way because it exists in time.
Yeah. And even though, I'll lie here, I'll sit here in the bedroom and stuff, or downstairs, and I'll it's just this, I have my face against the pillow, and it's just this is it. This is it. But I can't feel it.
Yeah.
I can't know it.
Yeah. No, you can't. You lives in the opposites. Yeah. It is really sad. I get that sadness. You can't. You really can't.
And I also, I think the thought has been coming, and I know it's only a thought, but that this could be like this the rest of my life. This seeming life, whatever. And I know it's only just this, and this is the thought, fear of the future and stuff, but you just feel, oh God, this is the rest of the life, this longing that never can know itself. It's unbearable.
Yeah, but even if that is the case, and in a way that doesn't exist, that world, but where do you think you go back to? It's like what's revealing itself is that stillness that's there before and after death. It's there even in this movement and this activity of the person that feels lost and feels like it can't do 20, 30, 40, or however many years it imagines.
Yeah.
But you're not left out. That's really what you're really sad about.
Yeah, I guess. It's almost like, why? What have I not? No, it isn't that actually. No, what have I done wrong? I know there's too much understanding here now of what, as much as you can about what they see it and what you talk about. So those thoughts will come, but they're just,
Yeah.
they're just
Oh no, this is like, I don't see it like that. I see it like in every instant there's just energy at play, and at the moment there's the energy playing of a tight contraction, but that's not D.
No.
That's not you. It's just an energy playing out now of a tight, of that tight anger and rejection.
Yeah, and this is very new to me, as in the me, whatever this is. It's not been as strong as this ever, really, to be honest. Well, no, that's not really as that in the story, but it feels very different this time. And maybe, if it comes, maybe because it is dying. I don't know. I wish it had just done die.
Die, God damn you. What is it that Tony said to Richard Sylvester? I hope you die soon.
I hope you die soon, yeah. Because it really is that despair. And I did talk to Richard once, actually, at Tony's, and I said about this, and he said it's total despair. And I said, oh no, I don't feel total despair. It's just this, it's fine, it's fine. Literally, I could tell him now, no, actually, yeah, it's total despair. And it's just nothing there, nothing to be done. No one to do it. So I have all these words, obviously, because I listen to you so much. And so luckily they talk to itself, in here all the time, which is a little bit helpful, but not in the night or sleep. I'm wide awake. Okay, just this. And you drive yourself crazy with it.
Yeah.
And you feel like, I really do feel like I'm going mad. And especially, I've got my headphones in at the moment because I'm trying to be quiet. Talking to you, I'm trying to be quiet. it just feels like I'm going absolutely bonkers. And I feel awful now because anyone who's listening, I feel like I've been a right killjoy because that last caller was really nice and sweet and light-hearted.
It's so perfect.
Oh, well, yeah, of course it is. Oh, well, thank you.
Oh, with pleasure. But it's just got to come out, Dee, and it does feel like absolutely going insane.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Because I've realised it doesn't matter whether you're a middle-aged housewife just doing a thing here, or like you were in, seemingly, you know what I mean, and wherever you are in some sort of retreat or Bali. It doesn't matter where it is. It's just got to play itself out where it is. Seemingly. But there's just such a sense of this momentariness of things now, and when you talk about the energy arising, there's just such a sense of it now, and it's almost like it's on the tip of my tongue. But it's thousandfold. And you can just not quite say something, because I know you have trouble with that, like I do, or not quite get the word or something. It's on the tip of your tongue. It's there, but then it just disappears. It goes, and it's that feeling all the time of it just being there, it's there, and then it never comes. Just disappears again. But I do understand that this is it too.
Yeah.
This longing is it too. That nothing, no one to do anything, and I know my sheets. I'm wiping my nose on my sheet. Change my bed now. Oh, Lisa, I love you so much for this, whatever it is, whatever you're doing.
No, I love you.
I don't know. Thank you, darling, so much. I'm sure I'll probably be talking again.
Yeah.
I'll have a lot more time soon because I'll be working and might even be thrown out my house. So. Don't know. You got room for a lodger.
No, I love you, Dee.
So much. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
And that song, no one said it would be easy. And then again, it's so easy. Okay, guys. I'm sorry, Lisa. I missed you out and went to D, and now it's way over time. So next time, this Sunday, I'll be in Milan. So if you want to come and join me in Milan, Italy. So there'll be no stream this Sunday. So the next stream will be next Wednesday. Okay, guys, thanks. Bye.